Good morning. I'm Tim. It's Saturday, 7/19, 2014. It's about 2:30. This is my thoughts, my ramblings, my story. Um, was to congratulate my son Jason and his wife Danielle. They're going to have a baby in about 8 months. So congratulations to you guys. Um, Nothing much else going on in the area. Terry's up with her dad. They took Woody up to see his brother, and his two sisters are coming down. They're all going to meet at Les's place up in Star Valley, and his sister, Aunt June, I think, is 93, and they're going to make lunch for him, and then they'll be back this afternoon. I've been cleaning up on the computer a little bit, going through some of my documents and downloads. Come across this one, and I wrote a lot on here, but it says themselves, good morning. Saw this on Facebook. So apparently this first part I saw on Facebook got me to thinking, and I didn't wrote the rest. I learned that just because someone doesn't love you the way you want them to doesn't mean they don't love you with all they have. This got me doing a lot of thinking about what was said in that statement. And we have an idea of what it means to be loved, but sometimes the person that we're asking this of does not have the capability to fulfill it the way that we think it should be fulfilled. So we think they don't love us, and they really do. This helped me a lot with my parents, because my old man and I and my mom for a lot of part we didn't get along very much. I could see what they were doing, and I swore I'd never treat my children that way. Although when I started, I did until I got Jerry started helping me and showing me what I was doing, repeating the same things my parents had done. But I went back through my old man's life, and he was 6 years old when he became an orphan. Well, his dad died, and him and his brother were raised by his uncle and his mom. So they didn't really learn love. And I'm not sure about the story with my mom. I don't really know much about my mom. Um, and I guess it's just my own not having a desire to find out anything or not remembering anything that I was told. I remember that her mom lived with us, I guess, until I was about 2 years old, Nana Snyder, and she died when I was about 2 years old. Um, but she got pregnant and they had to get married, which my old man felt that it was her fault, and so did my grandmother, and all the children that came afterwards, we weren't quite as good. And I don't know, I didn't enjoy going to see my grandparents. I didn't enjoy family very much. But then I started thinking about what they went through and how they were raised. And I could see how they did the best they could with the tools they had. As my old man got older, he got more mellow. Um, he didn't know what to make of me because um, everybody in the family, Mick was a Phoenix policeman. My older brother, Donald, he was in the Air Force. George, he graduated when he was 50, but he worked construction until he got hurt and couldn't do it anymore. Both my sisters were married and had good marriages. And then here I come along, and the long hair, the biker attitude, the biker dress, the biker bit. He called me up, wanted me to come up, and I'd show up on my bike, which he didn't really appreciate. Before I closed in my carport, I didn't have a garage. So if I couldn't ride my bike to work, it was inside the kitchen, locked up in the house. And if relatives come in from out of town, he wouldn't bring them down to my house because that was not proper, which I'd have to go up and see them up there, and he would specifically ask me not to ride my bike. So he was. He asked me one time. He says, "There's so many questions I want to ask you, but I'm afraid you'll tell me the truth." Because his idea was like society's idea was of bikers, and the guys I ran with, they were not much different than I was. They had families, they had jobs they had to go to all day, every day, or they worked on their own and had to support themselves. But we weren't. We liked to party and stuff. But, we weren't out killing people and running people off the road and doing all the stuff that bikers usually get accused of just because of the way they look. Um, so this is what I wrote after that. This is how I made peace with my parents after they passed. After a lot of thinking and going over their lives in my mind, I found peace in the way that I was treated growing up because I realized they were doing the best they knew how to with the tools they had. They did not know how to look for new tools. They did the same thing they had learned from their parents. I started off the same way, and after a short time, I knew I could not repeat that life. I showed I was shown a different way and hoped I would do better than those before me. Terry's the one that really got me on that one because I think Daddy dropped a glass or something, and I yelled at her. And Terry got all over me for yelling at her because, she didn't do it on purpose. It was an accident. She feels bad enough. You don't need to add to it. And I could understand that because when I was little, I felt the same way. And now that I was old, I had forgotten to feel that way and think about it. So Terry's helped me a whole lot with things of backing up and looking at them a little bit differently. And now that I'm a lot older, I know the world isn't going to end because things don't get done the way I think they should be. But for a long time there, they were supposed to. This is something we are all guilty of. Being upset with people for them being themselves and not acting the way we think they should. Think about this. You get mad or upset with someone because they didn't respond the way you thought they should. Did they respond the way they have always responded to things? Did you think it would be different when it was you? Okay. Did you think it would be different when it was you he was responding to? For some reason, we have given people qualities they do not have and then get mad when they respond, when the response they have to situation or action is not what we hope for. They did nothing wrong. They were themselves and responded as such. It was our own desire for it to be different, but it will never be, for that is not who they are. Life is a lot easier when we accept people as they are, and when you get upset with them, take a step back and see if it might be you who has put them in a place you know they don't belong. Allow them to be who they are because that is the way they should be. The last part of that, I know I've seen women do it quite often, and the guy's an asshole, really treats her bad and everything. She talks about how great he is because he's treating everybody else like that, and then when he treats her that way, then it's no, he's not really doing that to me, and they close their eyes to it and go on about life and stay with the person. The way that the world is going, we need to start looking at ourselves and what we can do to improve ourselves, because we can't change the world. Like Jerry Wilson, I asked him one time how, knowing what he knows, how he could put up with what goes on in the world. And he says, I know I can't do anything about it. Maybe I can change me a little bit, and others will see it and start working on themselves. And this is what we need to do. We need to set an example for others. Try and not get upset over everything, little things that really don't matter. Take a deep breath when something happens. We are in a time of change, and there's a lot of energy coming onto the planet. And it really is messing up our energy fields, our magnetic fields, because even the birds are having trouble because I'm rolling back and forth on my wheelchair. I'm not really getting closer. I'm just trying to get more comfortable. If you want an uncomfortable place to sit, try a wheelchair. Unfortunately, I do have feelings in my sit bones and they get tired. But I lost my place. This is a time of change. I believe in reincarnation, and I believe we've been here many times before. And all our past lives were working up to this one. When we came in this time, we've always submitted like a plan and asked permission to come in, and we were chosen or refused. But this time especially means a lot that we're here. Those that are here were chosen by the Creator, the highest power, the Council of Light, whatever you want to call the group or the person or however we got here. It goes through a process. And for them to choose you means that you are very, very special. There's something to be done that nobody else in the whole entire universe would be able to do it the way that you will. So everybody that's here is definitely needed. I can't tell you what your thing's going to be. I don't even know what mine's going to be. But in the meantime, what we need to do is start living our life consciously, thinking about how we react to things. At night when you go to bed or in the evening when you're sitting down being quiet. Start from when the time you got up in the morning and go through your whole day. See what things came up and how you reacted to them. And then think about if you could have reacted to them better or if you could have reacted to them differently, how that would have changed the rest of your day, your outlook on everything. I was getting some parts one day for my car when I was working on it. It's been a couple of years. And I went into AutoZone to get it. And the guy in front of me, the guy cut in front of me. And I said, hey, I'm sorry, I'm standing here in line. I'm in front of you. So I walked over to the counter and moved him out of the way. And the woman that was working there, she kind of got an attitude towards that. And I'm sorry, I was in line. I stood in line for a while. You can do the same damn thing, lady. So then she really got mad and everything she brought out was wrong. And she slammed it on the counter. And for a change, I didn't let her get to me. I just looked at her and said, you know how to do this job. And if you're doing this to piss me off, it's not going to happen. So you might as well just give me the parts I need. And she went back and brought out everything I needed. And she apologized. Boy, did that make my day. Because normally I would have copped her attitude and started acting the same way back at her. And I didn't. I held it off. And when I told her I recognized what she was doing, then she backed off and apologized. And I bet you she had a lot nicer rest of the day also. Sometimes it doesn't pay to point things out to people. They get really ticked off and do things that can hurt you or just make your whole day turn tail. So just something to think about. Go through what you've done during the day. See how you can maybe do a better day tomorrow. We're not going to be perfect. Don't beat yourself up over things. We make mistakes. We're human. We're in Schoolhouse Earth. We're trying to do better. We're trying to raise our vibration because this is what we're here for. We've come in to help others and to help ourselves. Well, when we help others, we help ourselves because as we're helping somebody else, if we're helping somebody else, we're not depressed and down. So our vibration is rising at the same time. I hear the music coming on in the other room. My last CD was rattles and drums, and that was real low. This one sounds like it's flutes and drums. I like the flute music. I like the drumming. I bought myself a flute, but I have a mustache here. I have I collapsed the lung, and I have COPD, and I have trouble breathing. I got bronchitis. So flute was not the best thing for me to get myself. So I gave that to my granddaughter, and I got myself a drum. Playing a drum, I found out I'm not I'm rhythmically challenged. Yeah, that'd be a good way to do it. My hands don't always do what my mind wants them to. So I do it for myself and no one else. That's what we should all do, is for ourselves. Because as we do things for ourselves that make us happy, it raises our vibration and helps the people around us because they see us doing what we enjoy and how happy they are. And maybe they'll start doing things to make themselves happy instead of being down about everything. I can't stand to be around people who the only thing they want to do is bitch and complain. They don't want to change it. They don't want to help to do anything about it. They just enjoy complaining about it and saying what a rotten life they have. Learned a long time ago it's not smart to compare yourself to anyone else, because then you realize how bad or good you've got it, and it just changes your whole perspective. Changing it to good that's a good thing, but when you start seeing and you realize that, man, this isn't working out the way I thought it was going to, then you're better off just not even doing it. And I'm really rambling. Oh, yes. Okay, well, I think this is it for today. Uh, remember, in the end, only kindness matters. Joy and bliss is a good thing to strive for. This is Schoolhouse Earth. And if you can find your joy and find your bliss, that's kind of a hard thing to imagine. You could ever find anything that would make you so happy that you would be blissful. Well, that would take a lot of deep thought to imagine what that would be like. That'd be a good thing to do. Just do a meditation on being blissful and happy, and just see how you do when you come out of it. Well, I'll think of things to talk about in about a week, and if I come up with something important, I'll be back before then. But everyone, peace, love, and light. Remember, open your heart. Send love out to everyone, somebody that's bugging you, or that you have a hard time with. Could it possibly be karma from a past life? And it's something you need to take care of this time? Something to think about. Good night.